one of the reasons, and a lot of times people ask me to give talks about the secrets of the Israeli success in innovation, and I say there are good things and there are bad things, and there are reasons that we are able to do what we do, and one of them is that we don't have social hierarchies, right? In some countries around the world, if you will approach a senior person without the right ceremony before that, you will be executed. You will be killed. Your mother and family will be killed. Your barber will be killed. In Israel, you can walk down the street, you will see a CEO of the biggest bank, and you can come with, hey brother, I have a startup company. Do you want to hear about that? And that's okay, because in Israel, if you don't know this person, your mother knows his mother. That's it. Now, those are the two options that we have. Israel is a very small country in that sense. So we don't use doctor, we don't use Mr., we don't use sir, we don't have this formal language, and I'm only saying it because we have a doctor in the next session, and I was struggling to decide what to do, and I'm sorry, I'm going to do it the Israeli way. I'm going to go and call 3 people to the stage: Alexander, Christof, and James, and we're going to have a session talking about energy and infrastructure, and cybersecurity and innovation, obviously. So we are missing one person. Jim. Yeah.
You didn't say it in English.
You're right. It's surprising that you're not Israeli. So guys, take 20 seconds, present yourself. What do you do, and where did you come from? Please.
I'm Alexander from Vonovia. We're a real old economy, probably the oldest business there is. We're renting flats. So real estate business, we rent out 400,000 flats in Germany. But actually, we understand the business as a service business. So my focus is not renting out 4 walls and a roof, but really giving a service to our tenants and building up value-add businesses on top of that. And so yeah, you can imagine there's a lot of infrastructure which we're dealing with, and yeah, looking forward to the talk.
And you're the head of product management, right?
That's me.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, my name is Christof. I don't know, I think it was a German guy who put this doctor on the table, so I'm not using it in Israel actually. So I'm from Innogy. Innogy is the biggest energy company in Germany. We are producing renewable energy with wind and photovoltaics. We have an energy grid to transport the energy, and we are selling it to power and gas customers. I'm from the Innogy Innovation Hub. That's actually a group investing in startups where we think they have product solutions which are able to define and build the energy system of the future. We're doing it in different areas, in energy-related startups, IoT startups, and cybersecurity startups, because we think we have to secure this future energy system. So that's it.
Hi, my name is Jim Heinzman, and I work for an Israeli startup called ThetaRay. I'm the executive vice president. I work primarily in financial services, but our company is really focused on, it's a big data analytics company. We use unsupervised machine learning technology to identify anomalies in big data sets. And we apply those to different industries, including energy, critical infrastructure, financial services, and others. And so I'm here representing the company today.
Perfect. Alexander, so you know, smart cities are coming, and smart cities are actually integration of a lot of different technologies. We talked about smart cities in the automotive session. We can talk about smart cities in a lot of other sessions. And one of the most critical parts of having a smart city is everything with regards to energy and connected house and understanding how people use energy. So tell us a little bit about that, about the future of energy, about how technology is going to interact with humanity on regarding energy consumption.
Yeah, and actually that's very important for us because all these houses are in quarters, so it's like 500, 1,000 units at one space. And that's a great opportunity to deliver new infrastructure, new solutions to people. So there we would have decentralized energy generation, which then can be used by the people there, integrated in car sharing, but always, and I think that's the most important thing, which if you think about security and systems and new technologies, for me, the most important point is always the customer. So we have to think about the human people who live there and make life easier for them.
Okay, perfect. Christof, share us some of your insights about the future of energy. What's when people think about energy, they think about power plants. This is basically that. Well, tell us a little bit about what's going to happen in the years to come.
Yeah, so that's actually, you described the old energy system. It's a big power plants, big grids, monopoly, and so on. So what we see now, there are several trends. It's digitalization, it's decentralization, it's democratization. That are the trends we name it. So the energy system will be highly connected, will be decentral. We have photovoltaics on the private rooftops. We have batteries in the cellar of private people. All this will be connected. All this will be steered by digital system. Steering this is much more complicated than before. And actually, it's not anymore in one hand, and that's the challenge from the cybersecurity perspective. So when it comes to smart meter, for example, maybe we install the smart meter, but the smart meter might be connected with a nice app on your iPhone. You download a malicious other app. This app connects via the iPhone to the smart meter, and maybe it connects via the decentral world to the batteries and the photovoltaics, and then it ramps down everything. This needs to be secured, and that's why we are here and searching for startups which are able to face this challenge.
Amazing. Jim, so ThetaRay has such an interesting story. It's the collaboration between the academy and academy research and the industry. But I wanted to ask you about specifically about cyber risks to the energy sector. What should we be aware of, and what might happen?
Great question. So, look, I think we just talked about, and we just heard about a lot of connections, right? A lot of connectivity. Everything's connected now. And if it's connected, it's vulnerable. Now, one of the things that we see, and it was very interesting actually today at the conference, I got a chance to speak with some of the professional hackers that were here. And they were telling me about how my phone's already compromised, and they were showing me. The point is, wherever these points of connection are, these connectivity, cyber criminals can attack it. And the thing is that people will ask us, we have an unsupervised machine learning platform. That means we find unknown unknowns. We look at all of the data and all the connections of all the data points in a big data set, and we identify that anomalous behavior. And people will ask me, so wait, you're going to bring in your technology and you're going to plug it in, what are you going to find? And my answer is, I don't know, but it's sure going to be interesting. And the point is that these attacks are evolving, and they're over time. And a lot of the current technologies are really more rules-based, right? And so they're more supervised machine learning. That means you're teaching the systems about things you already know. And so how do you identify zero-day attacks? How do you identify those things you've never seen before? And so I think what we'll find and what we're seeing when we deploy our technology in these environments, what we're seeing is a lot of attacks had been going on and compromise had happened actually for years. And these institutions had no idea that they had even been compromised, because the rule-based and the supervised machine learning technologies aren't able to identify new and emerging patterns.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So, Christof, Alexander, the next question is for you guys. We want to be very practical about that. Are there any specific problems to which you are trying to find a solution here in Israel? What kind of entrepreneurs or companies you should meet that will make you happy in that sense?
Okay, when I start to summarize all that, then maybe we need an additional half an hour. So the point is, you need to see it from two perspectives. On the one hand, we have IT, and we are used to have traditional corporate IT. But now all the connection starts, we are opening digital portals to our customer, all those kind of things. So we're digitizing the whole customer interface. That means already the corporate IT is faced with challenges, maybe more or less every corporate has. But also we have OT security. In OT security, you have the fact we are used to think in decades. Energy is about decades, and you have therefore a lot of legacy devices in there, which there was no security installed, and you can't update anything. So we are searching for solutions who are able to tackle this wide variety of devices from different years. And the second thing is also a challenge. that people are working in this environment also were not used to think about cybersecurity challenges, and it's about education our people. We actually started a cooperation with CyberGym, that's here a training center from Israel, and we are doing it together to train our peoples to learn how to tackle cybersecurity events in the moment. So it's a lot of things. Actually, all the problems which are described here in the key sessions are also relevant for us. Important is, and that's for us as an investor important, then that we see in the cooperation with the startup something where we can bring value from both sides, where the startup can learn from the challenges we have, the startup can grow, and we can use the product.
Perfect.
Yeah, so very, very clear. So I'm a friend of clear focus, and I think there's two things which are interesting for us. We want to connect our buildings, so that's a step before really the security part. But so connection of our buildings and predictive maintenance on that. You can imagine there's a lot of maintenance cases which we have to do on our buildings. And the other one is data analytics on customer data. Those are two things which are very important for us right now, and if there's anyone listening, please approach me.
So when you say customer data analytics on customer data, you're not specifically talking about cybersecurity, you're talking about getting business insights, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, Jim, what should energy company do today to cope better with the problems that are coming? Because we're going to see more and more incidents targeting energy companies and critical infrastructure companies.
So I think it's really a big problem globally, and I know that all the countries, including Germany and Israel and others, have been considering this. And I think that one of the things is to think about protection in terms of layers, because you have perimeter defenses, and some are good and some are not as good. One of the things, again, I described rule-based systems before. One of the things that you find and that we find is that a lot of the attacks are actually specifically designed to circumvent the existing controls, the existing protections that you have. Again, some of the professional hackers that I've spoken to, both here and in other places, have told us that a lot of the kind of rules and how the thresholds and parameters of those are designed are actually available on the dark web. And so if you really want to hack into anything, you can find those protocols. So if you know the playbook, it's pretty easy to get in. So one thing is layers of protection. Now, one of the things that we do, one of the benefits that we bring, is we really don't focus on the perimeter. We focus on the business activity within the network. And so we can actually detect undetected breaches. So if they have got past your first layer, your primary layer of defense, we detect anomalous activity within the network that's indicative of a breach that's occurred that you haven't identified with your perimeter defenses. And so I think that, again, thinking about it's not just technology, it's not just perimeter and network activity, but it's also what are your policies, what are your process, and really you should be, and I'm probably telling you this, but you should be in a continuous a cycle of evaluating what are my controls, what are my processes, what are my layers of defense, and to ensure that you're staying current with with the newest technologies. And I think it's great, being in Israel. This is the startup nation, and you're being exposed to a lot of the new and emerging technologies. It's really the right place to be.
Thank you so much. Nightmare scenario. What is the one thing that you're afraid that might happen? But we're not just talking about theoretical thing, general theoretical thing, but something practical that actually could happen in the next few years. So each and every one of you, tell me your nightmare practical scenario.
All right.
So the nightmare is pretty simple. If the lights go out, then we have a problem. And in energy, it's everything about reliable energy production and sending to the customer the energy. So if someone is hacking it and ramping it down, then we have a problem.
So for us, if we really go into more connection of the buildings, then of course hacking a building and putting up or down elevators and controlling heating system and controlling really building infrastructure, of course that can be a nightmare. Yeah.
Just thinking about and just processing the question, I think I think the nightmare situation is really a loss of human life, and I think that if really a power infrastructure is hacked, there could be significant loss of human life. Now, I was in New York when, I don't know if you guys remember, when the power grid went down for like 3 days. There was a cascading effect, and the power was out in the northeastern seaboard for 3 days. No, there was no loss of life. But I'll tell you that, that the impact to people and the concern about the loss of human life was significant. Now, if one of those events happened and it was larger scale, and it happened for a longer duration, think about, I mean, cooling and systems, if it happens in the summer and old people, I mean, it's really can be have significant damage. So that's really a nightmare, I think, because the impact on the global economy and the loss of human life, I think, would be significant.
No, energy is definitely a nightmare. So we have to conclude our session. I'll give you each 20 seconds to convey your message to the world. Conclude your messages or say whatever you want. 20 seconds each. Go.
Thanks for the whatever you want. Now what I see in the days I'm here, and we're talking about collaboration between Germany and Israel, is a bit the same cultural difference which you find with a corporate working with a startup. So I think we can learn from corporates working with startups on working together in our nations, because I feel Israel is really a startup nation, and we're kind of no, I don't want to go to stereotypes. I really like the idea say you bring what you bring, we bring what we bring, because we all have our stereotypes in mind. But I think Germany and Israel and corporate and startup is something which is very well connected, and I'd like to bridge those gaps. And always, if you want to bridge cultural gaps, it depends on people, human connections. So that's what would be my wish, and that's more than 20 seconds.
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay, maybe let's say it this way. I have the honor to work on two of the biggest projects ever. The one is the new energy system, and we are changing from coal and nuclear to renewables and photovoltaics. And on the other hand, I'm working on the interface to make the digital future secure. And that's really great. I'm happy to be here. And on the other hand, I'm working in Germany and I'm working in Israel. Both are great countries, and I'm happy to work here with you together. So looking forward to it.
So I would say, just in terms of looking at how you protect your infrastructure, it's the unknown things that are going to be the things that get you. The known events are things that you'll be able to tackle, and I think that unsupervised machine learning is really the only effective way to be able to address those unknown and zero-day kinds of attacks. On doing business with Israel, so as you can tell by my accent, I'm Israeli right now. And I'm not German either. I'm an American working for an Israeli company. But I can tell you, I've spent a lot of time in Israel, and I've done a lot of business in Germany. And you know what I can say in any relationship that you build, it's about time and proximity. That's how you build relationships. And you have to spend time, and you have to be in the same place. You can't send handshakes. You can't send personal contact. It doesn't work through the internet. And so spending time together and understanding each other, understanding the cultures. I think, and I don't want to be cliche, hopefully I'm not, but I really think, German engineering is what they're known for and a strength, and Israeli innovation. And from my perspective, again, as an American who's done business in both countries, when you bring that German engineering together with Israeli innovation, you have something really special that can really change the world. And that's what I think.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful day.